Welcome to No Room for Phonies.
Episode 155.
We are both at the end of colds, but I thought if Stephen Colbert can still do his show with a cold, we can do our podcast.
So I'll try to edit out any coughs, unless one of us is coughing while the other one is talking.
Yeah, we'll try not to. But today we're unpacking what men actually need to know about their health, because the biggest killers like heart disease and cancer still top the list, and men are nearly 3 times more likely than women to die by suicide.
Men tend to skip routine checkups, yet simple actions, knowing your numbers, staying connected with friends and family, moving more, checking yourself, and talking can really make a big difference. So let's talk about what's worth doing and why it matters.
So how often men avoid medical care? So surveys show that around 65% of men say they put off going to the doctor as long as possible, even when they have symptoms or injuries, and would rather do other tasks first.
And I know that in the States, with medicine being expensive,
and getting more expensive,
to it, but this is also I don't think this was just an American survey. So in countries with public medicine, I think it still is the case.
Well, the one survey said that only about 50 to 60% of men get a routine annual checkup, which I think it's because doctors don't really do them.
Well, not in Ontario.
No, so meaning roughly 40% or more don't see a doctor regularly unless something feels serious.
And research also suggests that men are significantly more likely than women to go multiple years without seeing a primary care physician.
I think one of the reasons for that is that women actually in Ontario, we get a letter for a mammogram and a pap test. Yeah. So we get them regularly, and
both men and women get the colonoscopy letters. But men don't get the prostate cancer.
No. So why do they avoid the doctor? So there's a whole bunch of things. Traditional masculinity norms. Men are socialized to be self-reliant and not show vulnerability, which makes going to the doctor, admitting that something's wrong, it feels like a weakness.
Showing your body to another human, right?
Yeah.
Fear or anxiety about bad news. So even though men have bravado on the outside, we pretty much are fearful and anxious about our health, and we avoid appointments because we're scared of what might be found or how it might change our lives.
Yeah, and perceiving symptoms as not serious or expecting them to resolve on their own. And many men delay until symptoms are severe.
There's practical and emotional reasons, like being too busy, uncomfortable with examinations, having had past negative experiences or embarrassment, and a lack of trust in doctors is also in the survey research is also cited.
Well, and we also across Ontario, we have a low emphasis on preventative care. Even when men do seek care, they are less likely than women to participate in preventative screenings or regular wellness visits. And I can even say from my perspective, I find it still very difficult because a lot of family doctors are men and they don't understand women. Mm-hmm. And so I think there's a lot of this on both sides, but
for different reasons.
Yeah, but for in short, the large portions of men delay or skip medical visits, not necessarily because they don't care about their health, but because of a combination of fear and norms around toughness and under prioritization of preventative care, and just some of the practical barriers that occur when men, and also doctors' offices now, like our doctor's office, you can't call them on Friday, you can't call them during your lunch.
Yep.
Like sometimes the doctors themselves put up barriers.
Yeah. Well, my story, because of my father's and grandfather's deaths from prostate cancer, I stayed very aware that I would be needing to check on my PSA scores. And even though I had fear and anxiety about my health, I did keep up my screening. And despite not really liking doctors' company, I overcame my anxiety and fear about bad news and being too busy. My first 2 reasons for avoid getting things checked out. And I did catch my cancer on time. And now for other things like heart and the blood work and all that, I do get things checked regularly. And this is my story. All men, we are all aging. All men have health concerns. My hope is that more men will take the time to become aware, get things checked out, and not make it their partner's responsibility to take care of them.
Based on recent men's health data, and expert recommendations, here are 10 key areas of concern for men's health: heart disease and cardiovascular health. And that's the same for women, that it's the number one cause of death for men. Risk factors, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, smoking. And with 50% of men who die suddenly from heart disease, they have not had even any previous symptoms.
Cancer is the next: prostate, lung, and colorectal. Prostate cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in men in the US and probably Canada. Lung cancer risk is higher in men, at least in these generations, because of exposure to toxins and smoke. And colon cancer screenings are recommended to start at the age of 45.
So mental health and suicide are third. Men are less likely to discuss mental struggles, which we talked about in our last podcast. Yet suicide is a leading cause of death. Men are 3 times more likely than women to die by suicide. The fourth is diabetes. Men are more likely to develop type 2 diabetes, often at a lower weight than women, frequently due to higher amounts of dangerous belly fat.
And we aren't just talking about illnesses that lead to death. Some of the ones in the list are non-death.
They don't.
So the fifth one
they're not life-threatening necessarily, these things.
The fifth one is prostate enlargement, or benign prostatic hyper something, I don't remember, BPH. It's a non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate, and it roughly affects 40% of men over 60, and it causes urinary frequency and sleep issues, and there's lots of pain. The recent treatments for it are very invasive and not 100% successful. And the drugs that they put you on have terrible, terrible side effects.
So stroke, over 3 million men in the US or Canada as well have had a stroke. High blood pressure is that's the risk factor for stroke.
Erectile dysfunction affects nearly 30 million men in the United States. So the ratio would be about the same, I guess, for Canada and other countries. It's not just a sexual issue, but often an early warning sign for underlying cardiovascular disease, diabetes, or hormonal issues.
And also then respiratory disease, COPD, lung cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which includes emphysema, chronic bronchitis, is a major cause of death, predominantly caused by smoking.
Right. Or workplace toxins.
Yes. Obesity and metabolic health, also increased weight, particularly belly fat, drives the risk for diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure.
And preventative screenings and checkups. Men are more likely to skip routine annual physical exams, which we've said, and this leads to delayed diagnoses of conditions like hypertension and high cholesterol.
So the key advice for improvement is to know your numbers. Regularly check your blood pressure with a goal of less than 120/80, and your cholesterol and your waist size. If it keeps growing and growing and growing, you've got a problem.
You need to exercise and aim for 150 minutes of moderate activity per week.
And schedule screenings. Start with colorectal cancer screenings at 45. Discuss PSA tests for prostate health with your doctor.
I'm intervening in this point here. If you have a history of prostate cancer, you need to start at 35. Because some aggressive prostate cancers are now appearing in men as young as 39.
Yeah. So, and go to a naturopath who they study your blood work for prevention, not just for disease.
Yep.
And that's what we do. And we have found gotten a lot of help
to our blood work.
Yes. Yeah. So one of the things that we have been excited about in our, one of the things that we promote is the Movember, every year.
Every November. Yep.
Yeah. And it's more than just about prostate cancer now. They look at men's health in general. So, all kinds of things that impact men.
And so on the website, and the movement encourages 5 habits. So they call it Guys Nail the 5.
So spend time with people who make you feel good. Stay connected. Your mates are important, and spending time with them is good for you. Catch up regularly, check in, and make time.
Just like we talked about at the last episode about men needing male friends. Number 2 is talk more. You don't need to be an expert, and you don't have to have to find the sole solution, but be there for someone. Listening and giving of your time can be life-saving for another man.
Know your numbers, know your risks, and advocate for yourself. That is one of the things that we really learned when Charles was going through his cancer. We were super high advocates for him. And even now, I think that there's some more things that we could be doing to support men.
And we advocate for you and women as well.
And women. So, I mean, I've had some pretty nasty experiences with family doctors, even when I've tried to get help. And I think you just have to be persistent. To me, it's the same as if your child was ill or your child isn't getting what they need at school, you would go crazy until you got what you felt was they needed. Yeah. So you have to be that way for yourself.
Yeah. The 4th one is know thy nuts. Simple. Get to know what is normal and check your testicles regularly and get checked if something feels off. And testicular cancer is more evident in men younger than 40. However, it does continue into the older years, but there's other issues with your nuts. There's painful conditions that happen because of pelvic floor dysfunctions and other things. So it's important to get things checked.
And the final one is the one that we have talked about over and over and over again. It's the idea of moving more. Add activity to your day. Do more of what makes you feel good. Take a walking meeting. Park further away. Take the stairs. Ride your bike to work. So all of that adds to it. I mean, I think the bottom line when it comes to our health care is that we have what we have as far as health care. And if you want health care that is slightly better, you do have to pay something for it. And if you want, like, for example, when you had your surgery, we paid for an Airbnb so that we could stay close to the hospital. Because we didn't, it was major surgery. You get,
catheter can have complications,
and you get released after a day, and it's major surgery, and then you drive all the way back here, and we choose to do most of our heavy duty stuff in Hamilton, and it's an hour away. So you have to be prepared to put some money into it. And sometimes when you go to a naturopath, some of the blood work isn't covered. You might have an insurance plan that might cover some of it, but you have to be willing to put some money into your own care. Otherwise, it's just going to be what it's going to be. And I mean, supplements, we pay for supplements, and some people would say that that's just like flushing money down the toilet. A lot of doctors say that,
but it's made a big difference in
our lives. So if you get a good naturopath, and we have a very good one, and I'll put his name in the show notes. And he does on the blog, and he does do online stuff.
He can serve people in Canada.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just saying your health, being healthy costs you money. If you want to exercise, you have to pay for a gym membership or a private, or
at least a couple barbells.
I pay for for private Pilates. Like, being healthy costs you some money. And if I understand not everybody has a lot of money, but
you can
sit down with your budget and cut
for 40
something out
a day for free. And you can buy resistance bands for less than $50.
Yes, but you can also cut back on something to pay for your health.
Out at restaurants, fast food.
To pay for health, because it's in the end, that's all we've got, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So
we're not 100% sure of our listening audience of how many of you are men. So if you are, please leave a comment on the YouTube video or on the podcast or on Spotify, or just email us at no room for phonies with
the number 4
at gmail.com.
Great. Great. So next month, we're going to be sharing our thoughts about the book, The Happy Couple, 50 Ways to Love Better by Manoj
Chanthara.
There you go. He's better at that.
If there's one thing to take from today, it's this. Most of the biggest threats to men's health aren't dramatic. They're silent, like heart disease, high blood pressure, and diabetes, even deep depression. And too many men wait until something breaks before they act.
But showing up for your health doesn't require a personality transplant. It's small, repeatable things. Know your numbers, move more, stay connected, talk, book the appointment you've been avoiding.
Strength isn't ignoring it. Strength is paying attention.
Show up for yourself the way you show up for everyone else.
Thanks for listening to No Room for Phonies.